So, LeBron James is Sports Illustrated's Sportsman of the Year, and joining us now is the president of the Miami Heat, the man who brought LeBron to South Beach, Pat Riley. The story in Sports Illustrated opens with a reference to you calling LeBron BOAT, which is an acronym for Best of All Time. Now, you coached Magic. Right. You went against Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. You played with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Is he the best of all time?
Man, you just had to hit me with that, didn't you? Right out of the chute, you had to hit me with that.
That's all I got.
Yes, B-O-A-T. A capital B hyphen capital O hyphen capital A hyphen capital T, BOAT, best of all time. I don't think there's any doubt that if he accomplishes, in the next 5 or 6 years, what these men have accomplished, he will be the best of all time. Absolutely. That's not in any disrespect to any of the players that you mentioned. He is so far in superior athletically, his weight, his body fat, his size, all those things that he does just athletically as a basketball player, his mental capabilities. However, there's the caveat, Bob, is you got to win, 5 or 6 titles. And I think he has the ability to do that, but he's going to have to do it.
He had already done extraordinary things with the Cavaliers. Then he comes to Miami, and as you see it, there was a change in his approach. And they quote you as saying about him through these recent NBA playoffs, he was primal. He was a cobra, a leopard, a tiger, hunched over his kill.
Well, there's no doubt he was predatorial. At that time, after what he had been through for a year or 2 years, the great players, not only take it personal, but take it inside. And I think you have to go to that. You have to go to that competitive edge, as a great, great player when everybody, is attacking you. But I think the one thing that was different, unlike in Cleveland, 7 or 8 years, a little bit like Michael Jordan, 7 or 8 years in a town, winning 60 games, a year with good players in a great organization, but he didn't win a title, and he wasn't really blamed for it. It was always he didn't have enough, or there wasn't a point guard, or he didn't have a center or a power forward. With us, he failed, and it was on him. And this is the first time probably that he has ever, had the finger pointed right at him and said, this one's on you. Where were you in the fourth quarters against Dallas or whatever? And I think that was an absolute breakthrough, watershed, crossroads, whatever you want to call it, time for him to really reflect and to come back with absolutely an incredible year.
This last U.S. Olympic basketball team was obviously a very strong group, and it sparked some conversation as to how they would have done against the original Dream Team from 1992. What do you think?
Listen, I think this team probably would have ran him right off the court. There was only one player really on that team in 92 that had the attitude, in the Olympics, and that was Michael Jordan. Also, he was right in his prime. There were a few other players. I think Magic was sort of at the end of it, and Larry was at the end of it. This team and the way that these players play now are so much more athletic and condition-wise and strength and all of these things and the way they shoot the ball from three-point range, I do think that this team probably would have beat the 92 team. I do think this team would have probably beat it. And
boy, that's some stake.
I think most of the teams. Yeah, but I think most of the teams today. We argue about this all the time. Kobe used to always argue about, with Magic, who was going to, be the best. Could this team, Phil Jackson's team, beat the team in the 80s? I think that's a different story. I think the team of the 80s was right next to the Boston Celtics in the 60s, the greatest team ever.
Last thing, Pat, you're one of the more restive people that I've ever met in sports, and obviously you're still competitive. But now you've got 5 championships as a coach, another as an executive. You just missed one with perhaps an undermanned Knicks team in 1994. That's a whole lifetime of accomplishment. Has some of the fire been kind of tamped down? Are you more at peace with yourself now?
Obviously more contented.
Yeah, that's the word, contented.
The fire to coach. You know, when you become a coach, you are a 24/7, 365-day-a-year animal. Yeah, I mean, you're in the office, you're worrying about everything. You're fretting over lineups and losses. It's just the way it is. It's the way I did it. I missed a lot in my life. If I ever had to do it over again, I think I would have done it differently. You know, I was a present, absent-minded father and husband. Thank God I had a great wife, like Chris, who's been with me for 42 years, who understood that. My children, grew up and, I missed parties, I missed, recitals, all of those things, that if I ever had to do it over again, I would have done it differently, but you don't know that until after. I have a chance to do more of those things now with my family and my wife and my friends. And so, I'm still competitive. I love watching the NBA. I love watching basketball. I love watching my team play. I know Mickey Harrison feels the same way that I do. We love watching our guys play. And I get with it, when it gets competitive. If I can't get out there, I'm right there with them in spirit. And so, Coach and I talk every day. Coach Spo and I talk every day about a lot of things. And I think while I'm still competitive and there's some fire there, there's not the same kind of fire that you need to have when you're coaching, 120 games a year. It just takes so much out of you.
Pat, thanks a lot for taking the time. Happy holidays.
You got it, buddy.